The morning was soft and gray, the kind of day where the world felt trapped in a hush. Irina Volkov stood at her apartment window in a small New England town, watching mist curl over the maple trees. Her breath fogged the glass, a faint cloud that vanished as quickly as it came. She was 26, with pale skin and dark hair that fell in loose waves past her shoulders. Her hazel eyes, often hidden behind glasses, carried a quiet intensity, like a lake holding secrets beneath its surface. Today, her hands trembled slightly as she clutched a folded letter from the hospital. Irina was shy, the kind of person who preferred the company of books to crowds. She'd always been that way, ever since she was a child in her family's cramped apartment in St. Petersburg, Russia, before they moved to America when she was 10. Social gatherings made her chest tighten, her words stumbling over themselves. But today wasn't about navigating a party or small talk. Today was about something bigger, something she'd been avoiding for months. The letter confirmed her appointment for a private surgery at Willow Creek Medical Center. It was a minor procedure, a thyroid nodule removal, but to Irina, it felt like a mountain. The idea of lying on an operating table, vulnerable under bright lights, made her stomach churn. She'd put it off for as long as she could, ignoring the doctor's gentle warnings about monitoring the growth. But last week, her primary care physician had been firm. Irina, it's time, it's safe, routine, but it needs to happen. She sighed, folding the letter and tucking it into her coat pocket. The clock on her kitchen wall ticked softly, a steady rhythm that grounded her. She pulled on her scarf, a soft blue one her mother had knitted years ago, and stepped outside. The air was cool, carrying the scent of damp leaves and distant wood smoke. Irina walked slowly to the bus stop, her boots crunching against the gravel path. She liked these quiet moments, when the world didn't demand her voice. The bus ride to Willow Creek was uneventful, the hum of the engine blending with the low murmur of passengers. Irina sat by the window, watching fields blur past, their edges softened by fog. She thought about the surgery, about the doctor she'd meet today for the pre-op consultation, Dr. Dmitry Ivanov, the letter said. She pictured an older man, stern and clinical, like the surgeons she'd seen in medical dramas. The thought made her shrink into her seat, her fingers twisting the edge of her scarf. Willow Creek Medical Center was a modern building, all glass and steel, but it had a warmth to it, with ivy climbing the walls and flower beds lining the entrance. Irina stepped inside, her sneakers squeaking faintly on the polished floor. The receptionist, a kind-faced woman with a name tag reading Nancy, smiled at her. Irina Volkov, Dr. Ivanov's expecting you, 3rd floor, room 312. Irina nodded, her throat tight, and took the elevator. The ride was slow, the numbers lighting up one by one. She smoothed her sweater, a nervous habit, and tried to rehearse what she'd say. Hello, Dr. Ivanov, I'm here for the consultation. Yes, I'm nervous. No, I don't have questions. Just a broken bar. Please make this quick. But words never came easily to her, especially with strangers. Room 312 was at the end of a quiet hallway. Irina knocked softly, her heart thudding. A voice from inside, warm and clear, called, "Come in." She opened the door and froze. Dr. Dmitry Ivanov was not what she'd imagined. He was young, maybe 30, with dark hair swept back and piercing blue eyes that seemed to see right through her. He wore a white coat over a crisp shirt, but there was something approachable about him, a softness in his smile that caught her off guard. The room smelled faintly of antiseptic and lavender, an odd but comforting mix. A window behind him framed a view of autumn trees, their leaves a mosaic of red and gold. Irina, right? Dmitry said, standing from his desk. His voice had a faint Russian accent, like hers, though his was smoother, polished by years in America. I'm Dmitry Ivanov, it's good to meet you. Irina nodded, her cheeks warming. She sat in the chair across from him, clutching her purse. Hi, she managed, her voice barely above a whisper. She wanted to say more, to ask about the surgery, but her thoughts scattered like leaves in the wind. Dmitry sat down, his movements calm and deliberate. He opened her file, his eyes scanning the pages. So, we're here to talk about your thyroid procedure. I've reviewed your scans, and it's straightforward, but I want to hear from you. How are you feeling about this? Irina hesitated. Most doctors rushed through appointments, But Dmitri's gaze was steady, patient. She swallowed, forcing herself to speak. "My broken bar scared. I don't like hospitals, or needles, or a broken bar, any of this." He nodded, leaning forward slightly. "That's okay. A lot of people feel that way. Can you tell me what scares you most?" She hadn't expected the question. Most doctors didn't ask about feelings. She fidgeted, her fingers tracing the seam of her purse. "I don't know. Being out of control, maybe. Not knowing what's happening while my broken bar asleep." Dmitri's expression softened. "I get that. It's hard to trust someone else with your body. But I promise, Irina, my team and I will take care of you. You won't be alone." His words were simple, but they carried a weight that eased the knot in her chest. She noticed his hands, steady and strong, as he gestured to a model of the thyroid on his desk. He explained the procedure in clear, unhurried terms, pausing to check if she understood. His voice was like a slow river, calm but steady, pulling her along without overwhelming her. As the consultation went on, Irina found herself relaxing, though she couldn't quite place why. Maybe it was the way Dmitri listened, really listened, when she spoke, or maybe it was the faint familiarity in his accent, a reminder of home, of the Russia she'd left behind. Whatever it was, she felt something shift inside her, a quiet spark she hadn't expected. When the appointment ended, Dmitri handed her a pamphlet about the surgery. "Read this over," he said. "Call me if you have questions. My number's on the card." Irina took the pamphlet, her fingers brushing his for a moment. Her face flushed, and she mumbled a thank you before hurrying out. In the elevator, she leaned against the wall, her heart racing for reasons she didn't fully understand. She wasn't just nervous about the surgery anymore. She was thinking about Dmitri, his kind eyes, his steady voice, the way he'd made her feel seen. The days before the surgery passed in a blur. Irina went to work at the library, shelving books and helping patrons, but her thoughts kept drifting to Dmitri. She told herself it was silly. He was her doctor, a professional doing his job, but she couldn't shake the warmth she'd felt in his office, the way his presence had steadied her. The morning of the surgery, Irina arrived at Willow Creek with her mother, Elena, who fussed over her like she was still a child. "You'll be fine, Ironichka," Elena said, patting her hand. "This doctor, he's good. I looked him up. Young, but very skilled." Irina nodded, her stomach twisting. She didn't tell her mother about the consultation, about how Dmitri's smile had lingered in her mind. She was wheeled into the prep room, where nurses bustled around her, their voices a soft hum. Then Dmitri appeared, his white coat crisp, his expression calm but warm. "Ready, Irina?" he asked, checking her chart. She nodded, her voice caught in her throat. As the nurses prepared the four, Dmitri stayed by her side, explaining each step. "You'll feel a little pinch," he said, and when the needle went in, he distracted her with a story about his dog, a clumsy retriever named Misha. Irina laughed, a small, nervous sound, but it felt good. Before they wheeled her into the operating room, Dmitri leaned down, his voice low. "You're going to do great. I'll be right there the whole time." Irina met his eyes, and for a moment, the world felt still. "Thank you," she whispered. The surgery went smoothly, just as Dmitri had promised. When Irina woke in recovery, groggy but whole, she felt a quiet relief. Elena was there, holding her hand, but Irina's eyes searched for Dmitri. He came by later, checking her chart with that same steady smile. "You did great," he said. "Rest up, okay?" She wanted to say more, to tell him how much his kindness had meant, but the words wouldn't come. She just nodded, her heart full. Weeks later, at her follow-up appointment, Irina sat in Dmitri's office again. The scar on her neck was small, barely noticeable. Dmitri checked it carefully, his touch gentle. "It's healing beautifully," he said. "You're all clear." Irina smiled, a little bolder this time. "Thank you, Dr. Rivanov, for everything." He paused, his pen stilling. "Call me Dmitri," he said, his eyes meeting hers. There was a warmth there, a question unspoken. She took a breath, her shyness battling her courage. "Dmitri," she said softly, testing the name. "Would you a broken bar maybe want to get coffee sometime?" The room went quiet, the air heavy with possibility. Dmitri's smile widened, genuine and bright. "I'd like that, Irina, I'd like that a lot." As she left the office, The autumn sun was breaking through the clouds, casting a golden glow over the world. Irina walked slowly, her scarf fluttering in the breeze. For the first time in a long time, she felt light, like she could step into the world without fear. She didn't know where this would lead. A coffee with Dmitri, a man who'd seen her at her most vulnerable and made her feel safe. But she knew one thing, she was ready to find out.